Hi, I'm Nick, and I run BarRaiser, where we help companies make measurably stronger hires within 6 months. Today, I'd like to answer the question, what are some best practices when evaluating and interviewing entry-level candidates? The tension here comes from the fact that in behavioral interviewing, you focus primarily on data, examples, illustrations, prior accomplishments in the candidate's experience so far, while on the other hand, entry-level candidates, college graduates, they don't have many of those experiences. So how do you square those two discrepancies and still evaluate the candidate accurately? I would still suggest that you as an interviewer should focus on behavioral examples, data, and illustrations. Data matters more than potential on balance. And even for entry-level candidates, you should endeavor to get and obtain that data. Also, as a more experienced professional than the candidate, you should help the candidate provide you with that information during the interview. You should, if you will, together go through their experiences and accomplishments so far and try to make them as relevant and as quantifiable as possible with regard to the job that you're looking to fill. You can come up with hypotheses and assumptions and then quantify those hypotheses. If you declare that something is a hypothesis, and if it's a reasonable hypothesis, it's just as good as data. And you can help the candidate quantify their accomplishment from a school project or from an extracurricular activity and build some assumptions around that in order to reach a final piece of output, which is as close to data as possible. To give you an example of what I mean, I'd like to suggest that you read the last letter to Amazon's shareholders that Jeff Bezos wrote as an Amazon CEO before he retired. In that final letter, Bezos attempts to describe the effect that Amazon's inventions have had on humankind. And he goes through the different parts of the Amazon business, e-commerce, AWS, so on and so forth. And when he talks about e-commerce, he literally comes up with assumptions and hypotheses on how long it takes the average person to get in their car, drive to the nearest store around the corner, and let's say drive to the nearest Target, find a place to park in the parking lot, get out of the car, go inside the store, pick up an item off the shelf, wait in line to pay with their credit card, go back to the car, drive back home. So he quantifies the time spent by each individual doing so. He applies a certain value to it, dollar value to it, and then he grosses up that value across the number of consumers that use the Amazon e-commerce service across the world. So you can see how you can practically quantify anything as long as you apply reasonable hypotheses and you're trying to use them as a best predictor for what data would have been in that place. Two more suggestions for you. Suggestion number one is that for certain role, you could lower the bar for the accomplishments that you expect these entry-level candidates to have performed so far. On some occasions, you could go as far as eliminating the bar raiser function altogether. For example, if you're interviewing for roles where there will be generally a low level of decision-making authority and these new hires would follow a healthy dose of instructions and predetermined steps for them, then potentially you could state that the behavioral interview method does not necessarily apply here, and you could hire based on the strength of their resume or based on a team fit or something that is less stringent than the behavioral interview method. In the case of Amazon, when the company hires candidates for their fulfillment centers or to deliver packages to customers, those are very entry-level roles. They do eliminate the need for a behavioral interview approach, and there's no bar raiser present in those interviews. The second and final point I'd like to make is that there's really nothing better than trial-based employment in terms of detecting the future fit of a candidate with your company. If you have the luxury to employ this junior entry-level candidate in a temporary capacity of some kind, then please go ahead and do so. This includes hiring the candidate as an intern or on a temporary gig contractually of some kind. Doing so and hiring someone on a trial basis is a far superior approach, even to the behavioral interview method with its data, illustrations, and so on and so forth. So I hope this has been useful information to you. If it has been, please subscribe to this channel. The very best of luck to you as you're attempting to instill best hiring and interviewing practices at your organization. You've got this. Bye-bye.